to Third Thursday. We're so glad you're here. The first Thursday of the semester on the theme of placemaking. And welcome back to those who have previously attended our Third Thursday events on campus. And welcome to those who are tuning into our very first Third Thursday. Can I actually just get a show of hands, virtual or live, to see how many if this is your first Third Thursday that you're running? Awesome, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Great, thank you. So for those of you who don't know, Third Thursday is a cross-college collaboration, and we host them on the third Thursday of every month. We bring in local innovators, speakers, entrepreneurs, and creatives to you so we can learn from one another. When we are on campus, we would usually have some type of treat and coffee, but in this virtual format, we have a new way to get coffee and treats to you. So if you're currently studying or working on campus or living in residence, the first 20 customers who use the promo code Third Thursday will receive a free pastry. So the offer is valid in Algonquin College's Marketplace Food Court. So in person, you just say Third Thursday with our pastry, and you'll get a free pastry, but you must already be on campus for class and work. So please do not go to campus. It's just if you are already there. And then for those of us who are remote, the first 20 customers who use the promo code Third Thursday at Little Victories Coffee will be given $2.50 off your purchase. So this is equivalent to one free drip coffee. So both of these offers are valid for the first 20 customers who use the promo. And Andrew, the co-owner of Little Victories Coffee, actually offered to give first customer who goes into Little Victories Coffee a free t-shirt as well. And it's the same t-shirt that it's the same design as the t-shirt he is wearing currently. That's so generous. Thank you, Andrew. And we do have some giveaways to North and Navy as well. Those will be coming on, we'll be giving those away later on in the event. So make sure you stay on the call and don't miss the opportunity to win. So before we get started, we're just gonna share a couple of housekeeping items. We would like to encourage everyone to turn your cameras on for a little bit of face-to-face time, but please stay on mute. If you have a question for one of our panelists, you can ask it by typing in the chat, or you can raise your virtual hand, and then I'll call upon you to ask it live later on in the presentation. So to kick off today's event, we would like to, we're going to give everyone a question, so you can open up your chat, and then you can type out your answer to the question in the chat. And in a couple of seconds, we'll all send our answer at the same time. So don't press send until I say so. I'll count down. But the question is, where is a space that brings you inspiration? So this could be somewhere in your home, in Ottawa, on a vacation. So you can type that in the chat, and then I'll count us down, and then we can all press send at the same time. So I think someone got a head start, but we'll just hang on for a few seconds. All right, so somewhere that brings you inspiration. So I'll count down from 3, 2, 1, go. Awesome, cottage, the shower. Love it. Lots of cottage, and yeah, definitely outside. This is awesome, thank you. Great, okay, oh my gosh, the slide lab. I love it. Okay, so please feel free to continue to use the chat throughout the event. You can introduce yourself, or if you have any questions, that's the space to question. And now I'm going to ask Ryan to share his screen, and he's going to play a little video that introduces the concept of Third Thursday, and then introduces the three featured panelists that we have with us today, and a little bit, we have some photos of what their businesses look like. So Ryan, I'll get you to. Hey, Algonquin College, we're launching
the third season of Third Thursday.
What's Third Thursday?
Third Thursdays are conversations
that spark ideas and create community.
Every month, we invite local experts and innovators
to share stories that inspire and empower listeners.
This year, in our virtual edition, we challenge you
to tune in on the third Thursday of every month.
in a new location in your home.
We challenge you to change your space into a place.
And we'll bring inspiring innovators from inspiring places to you virtually.
Let's explore this new reality together.
Students, employees, alumni, and community partners.
Forge meaningful connections while learning from each other.
The Third Thursday community is story-driven,
curious, and collaborative.
And we're not afraid of perspective shifts
or pushing the envelope.
We skip the small talk
and dig deep into topics that matter.
We're here to fuel dreams through dialogue
and to turn passion into purpose.
Come and be a part of the story.
Hey everyone, we're kicking off our third season of Third Thursday with 3 awesome panelists, and we'll be talking about storefront transformations. North and Navy is a restaurant in an old Victorian home situated in a residential street in Ottawa. But you step inside and you feel like you're in a Venetian restaurant. From the traditional decor to the gourmet Italian cuisine and the Baccara bar in the back. An alleyway, a shipping container, just wait. Little Victory's Cafe has completely transformed this back alleyway in the Glebe. It's absolutely stunning and one of the trendiest spots in the city. They offer delicious coffee and sandwiches prepared by their partners, North and Navy. Now, we might not be able to travel, but step inside Viens avec moi, the clothing boutique, and you'll be transported to the south of France. From their clothing, their accessories, the decor inside, and their branding, get ready to feel inspired. Thank you, Ryan. So as you can see, these 3 businesses have done an excellent job at placemaking. And when we would host these events on campus, we would reimagine spaces and event sets that were meant to inspire. So I am so happy to have these 3 business owners joining us live from their locations today, showcasing their unique spaces for the first Third Thursday event of the year. So without further ado, we have Sophie, the co-owner from Viens avec moi shirt, a stunning boutique in the Glebe. Chris, co-owner of Ottawa's Italian fine dining restaurant, North and Navy. And Andrew, the co-owner of the delicious Little Victory's Coffee. So to get us started, may I ask that you each tell us a little bit about yourselves, how you entered your history, and the steps that led you to opening up a business. Chris, we'll start with you, and then Sophie, and then Andrew.
Hey guys, well, I just want to say thank you for having me. It's a true honor actually to be considered part of this group and worthy of discussing and speaking with the future generation of entrepreneurs here in Ottawa, and obviously especially with Algonquin College, speak about community. Algonquin College has always been at the heart of our community here in Ottawa. And then it goes without saying, to be sitting on a panel with my amazing wife, Sophie, is pretty cool. I'm very excited about that. And a good friend, Andy, who I see almost as much as my wife, because I've been living in the Glebe lately, working on our second restaurant. So a little bit about myself, I guess. I'm born and raised Ottawa. I've not left the city other than travel and a short stint in Montreal. I went to school at University of Carleton for arts and science, which I'd say it doesn't look like I'm using that biology degree right now, but it did come in handy. It prepped me for all things to come. From photography, from University of Carleton, I went on to School of Photographic Arts, Ottawa. That's a little photography school downtown. And I guess that was to pursue my passion in photography, something that I had always done as a hobby on the side. And I just wanted to explore that curiosity. While going to school, all the while, I had always worked in the restaurant industry, supplementing some of those expenses going to school and some of my travel expenses, of course. And I just, to explore that passion of food. And the more I worked in the industry, the more I fell in love with that world of restauranting. And I guess that passion grew, and I always felt like I would one day own a restaurant, or work towards that at the very least. And I met my partner, business partner, Adam, about 20 years ago now, at a restaurant we both worked at together, Fratelli. They're still around. This was in the Glebe, actually. And I think we struck off right away, and both shared that passion for food and service, hosting guests and creating an environment, atmosphere. And so 20 years ago, I think we always talked about owning a restaurant, and we pursued our own directions with education and my profession as a photographer. I was a photographer for 10 years, actually, all the while working in a restaurant. And the timing was right. This building north of Navy, 226 Nepean Street, downtown Ottawa, became available, and Adam and I started getting the juices flowing for a business together. And we had been practicing business plans and building and conceptualizing, and this space was perfect for us, for our vision that we had always considered. So that was 5 years ago, and I guess 5.5 now, actually. This year is kind of moving fast in a weird way. So here we are, and actually we're planning to open our second restaurant in the Glebe. Another little Italian spot.
It'll also be Italian, the second restaurant? Yeah.
Italian. So North of Navy, actually, for those of you who don't know, North of Navy is a Northern Italian inspired restaurant. Very specific type of food and environment. And, you know, in previewing placemaking discussion, we felt it was really important to have kind of a specific region to focus on, and it kept us aligned throughout building the business and conceptualizing the business. And so the second restaurant is going to be a spin-off, but a little bit more casual. North Navy is pretty fine dining with a casual feel, but Gia in the Glebe will be very easygoing and relaxed. Thank you.
Looking forward to that. And yeah, it's so neat, like how everything, your whole restaurant, and then social media, branding, everything is just all like, it's so in sync. Actually, Sophie, I'll come to you because you have the same thing. It's, yeah, your branding, you step inside the store and it's just all like the same colors, and it's so neat that you're able to do that and you just feel totally transported. So Sophie, if you want to talk a little bit about Bien Avec Moi, please. Oh, I think you're just on mute.
I don't know how that happened. Everyone can hear me? We're good? Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, so, well, just a bit of history on you know, how I got to where I am today. Ever since I was really young, I always knew that one day I would have my own business. So I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I went to Ottawa U, which is where I graduated from in business. And from there, when I was 23, I took over a modeling agency, so Models International, which is actually where I am here today. Unfortunately, I couldn't be at the store just because we are open, and with COVID happening, it's kind of tricky to fit a lot of people. So yeah, so I took over Models International, and then I have a very good friend of mine and actually co-owner of the store, Bien Avec Moi, who worked at the agency with me for over 10 years. So she was the booking agent and stylist. And we both always really wanted to open up a boutique. We both shared a passion for fashion. And so it's something that throughout the years, as we talked, we kind of just decided, you know, okay, let's go ahead, let's do this. we saw that there was a need in Ottawa. There wasn't much like trendy little boutiques. We wanted to bring something different to Ottawa. And so we made a business plan and we kind of made it happen. We traveled a lot together, and so a lot of our inspirations came from that. The idea of the name Viens avec moi came when we were in the south of France on the beach. And then I think also like one of our trips when we went to Venice Beach, shopping on Abbot Kinney is when we really saw something that we hadn't experienced before, where all the stores were offering like drinks and snacks, and they were playing, you know, music, and the vibe was so relaxed and chill, and there was even some like ping pong tables, and so we really enjoyed that experience and wanted to bring that home. So, and then of course growing up, you know, in cottages and being surrounded by water, I think that's where the whole theme and concept came together.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I absolutely love your design and the cute. For anyone who hasn't been, like even just step inside and go check out location. I have only been to your Glebe location. Like when you guys were in Westboro, I'd never been to that one. But I imagine like it would be, yeah, pretty similar, just because everything, like you've really thought of every part of your business is just all in sync, which is awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we were really fortunate. That was the first spot that we saw when we were looking for a place on Wellington. So it was an old house that we converted into a store, and it had a backyard. So we were really able to bring that kind of Venice vibe here in Ottawa. So we were there for, my gosh, 8 years, and then we moved into the Glebe a year ago, which has been amazing. We really wanted to have more foot traffic, which was important. So we'd been more of a destination shop in Wellington. So now combining those two together has been pretty amazing for us. And so we kept this similar design as well. Chris, you know, he also has an amazing creative eye. So we made a good team together, and really proud with what we were able to create.
And then also just now speaking to the Glebe. So Andrew is also located, you guys are neighbors. Andrew's in the Glebe. I think you guys are just a couple stores over, maybe on Bank Street.
Yeah.
Okay, Andrew, do you want to speak a little bit?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, literally Sophie's our next door neighbor. It's awesome. So I think the whole goal of creating, when we were looking to come to the Glebe almost 3 years ago, like I live in the Glebe, and we really looked at this neighborhood as something that needed a little bit more time and investment in terms of making it a little bit more like lively and fun and young and trendy, because it was always known, it was probably like considered to be almost like a snobbish, older homes, much more very interesting neighborhood, but it just hadn't seen the same level of like youth injection that maybe Hintonburg or Wellington West and Westboro had seen from some younger entrepreneurs. So like when we opened in the Glebe 3 years ago, it'll be 3 years in December actually. When we opened, it was kind of like, we felt like it was kind of like ours for the taking. Like this was an area that we were really looking forward to moving into. And then since that point, it's been really neat to see how many other businesses have opened around us as well. Like Gia coming to the Glebe, VAM opening next door to us a year ago. We have excellent neighbors like right across the street. We work from like a specialty knife store, which is like very niche, very unique in Ottawa. And it's been really cool to see like there's lots of really fantastic businesses that operate in the Glebe, and it's cool to be a small part of that. So Stomp Ground down the street, that's another one. Those guys are awesome. Those guys are like really high-end menswear. So it's cool to be here. To introduce myself a little bit, hi guys, my name is Andrew. It's already been said, but I am one half of Little Victory's Coffee Roasters here in the Glebe. We have another location downtown, which has never opened. It was slated to open in March of this year. It's unfortunately sitting there looking real pretty, not doing a whole lot. It's right downtown on 44 Elgin Street, right by the War Memorial and directly adjacent to the NAC. My background is kind of funny. It's kind of all over the place, but I've pretty much always been working in coffee since I was 15. I started working at I'm kind of born and raised in Elmont, just outside of Ottawa on the West End. Shout out Elmont, what's up? And yeah, I was really fortunate to be able to grow up in a really nice small community, and be able to kind of like create that community vibe at a very young age. And then it really does take a community to grow you, especially a community as vibrant as Elmont. So I was really fortunate to grow up there, and I worked at a small coffee shop in that town for about 3.5 years. After graduating high school, and I went and did 1-year certificate program in Texas A&M for pre-service fire engineering services. So my background is then fire service, which is super weird. I did that for 1 year and then moved home and continued to work in carpentry, which I'd been doing in high school as well. So after finishing my time in carpentry, I moved to Melbourne, Australia. I lived in Melbourne for a year, and that's really when the whole idea, I'd never really thought about owning my own cafe. I'd never really thought about owning my own coffee business before, but that's really when that idea kind of like took flight. Melbourne, if you guys don't know, is easily bar none the most competitive coffee market in the world. There's 5,000 cafes there. And I was really fortunate to be able to work at one of the, I think probably unanimously one of the best coffee companies in all of Australia. And ultimately got a job I didn't deserve at a company I didn't deserve to work for, and had somebody just like invest time and energy and training into me at a really young age. I was like 19 when I was there, 19 and 20. And just ultimately fell in love with the industry. I had a moment when I was working in Australia where I looked at the barista who I was in the shop that I would eventually work in. And I looked at him and I said, I didn't realize coffee could taste like this. And it was like that exact moment that I kind of decided, I was like, this is like the coolest thing ever. And I want to do this all the time, forever now. And it was that moment that ultimately set me forward into pursuing little victories with my business partner, Jeremy. I finished my year working in Australia, kind of planning the entire thing of being able to like move home and then be able to start the business. So I moved home in November of 2015, I guess. Yeah, November 2015. And then we started the company 4 months later in February of 2016, which was also where I met Chris, which is super jokes. But that was the same kind of month that we started LBC. And yeah, that's almost 5 years ago now, which is like, it'll be 5 years in February, which is crazy. But and then since then we operated for a while as a wholesale company. North and Navy was actually our very first wholesale restaurant in all of Ottawa. It was the first place we ever sold coffee in a restaurant in the city. So I have a lot of love and a lot of respect for Chris and Sophie. And again, thank you guys for allowing me to be a part of this panel, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of this team, because Chris and Sophie are, in my opinion, like two of the highest quality individuals you'll meet in all of Ottawa. So it's cool to be able to be a part of this for sure.
Well, thank you, Andrew. And do you mind just actually speaking now to the shipping container, and was that always the goal that you were going to open that, or was that?
So I guess I kind of like refocusing back to the Glebe. We've had this cafe for coming up on 3 years. I'm getting a parking ticket out front right now, guys, so just let me handle that, which is kind of jokes. I'm just gonna let that happen. It's fine. But it's one of those things that so anyway, speaking to the Glebe, Jared and I have always kind of like, for 5 years, we've always had this envision of being able to do the shipping container cafes, which is not a new idea. It is something that's been done lots in LA through food trucks. It's been done a lot in Melbourne. Like, I used to go regularly to a cafe on the west side of Melbourne called Rudimentary, which is actually 2 40-foot shipping containers, like stacked right side by side. And hey, chef. And then from there, Chris just got a sandwich, which is awesome. Jealous. So Rudimentary is a 40-foot shipping container cafe in Melbourne. We've always wanted to do it here, but we never really had the time, energy, or really, honestly, focus and the need. Like, we didn't have a space for it. But when COVID started, the first thing it wasn't even our first original idea, but we were kind of humming and hawing about after we had been locked down for a couple months. The shop had been closed for about 2 months. We started kind of trying to figure out how we could reopen in like the safest, but also like fun and cool and different way than just like putting plexiglass all over our nice Glebe cafe. Because that didn't really feel fun. And it was also like logistically quite difficult to manage, like having 2 customers at a time at a shop when you're a high volume business. That just doesn't work. So we decided we were going to drop this little shipping container behind the cafe, which is like it's like right down an alleyway with both alleyways are lined with street art, which is really fun. It feels very unique to Ottawa. It definitely feels like something you'd walk down an alleyway, and maybe even Toronto or New York or San Francisco or somewhere like that is more like classically like cool in quotation marks, but might not necessarily be something you'd expect for Ottawa, being the relatively conservative city that we are. And I think we just wanted to create something that was different and fun, and make a space that people felt comfortable going to, that they didn't have to wear masks if they didn't want to go inside. And then we were able to develop a food program with Chris as well, which was a really great partnership that we're grateful for. And so far, honestly, I think probably in terms of like a publicity and like financial and everything, the container is probably one of the most successful things that we've ever done in the business. Like the social media response, the level of like regulars that we got back pretty much day one of opening. We got featured in the Citizen, which we had like never had happen before. There's lots of stuff that we're super grateful to have been able to like have experience, because we took the time to do it properly and build something kind of cool and fun, which it's like really neat. If you guys, for the 20 people or for whoever ends up coming out and using the promo code as well, it's just down the back. You'll come and you'll see the front of the shop. The shop's it's all blacked out, and then the front of the space is really, really crispy and clean and white. But then down the alleyway, you'll see the container in the back, and that's actually where you'll line up and then go and order your coffee and donut and everything else. So all good.
So neat. I think Leanne actually added your website to the chat too. So if anyone needs location, I think also I saw your social media in the chat as well. So yeah, definitely check out Little Victory. And Chris, I'll just come back to you to talk a little bit about that partnership and how you have now, or you guys are now supplying food to Little Victories, and how you're navigating COVID.
Well, yeah, great. Well, we're still figuring out COVID. Months in, it seems like every single day we're shuffling our feet to make some changes and adapt, and we're bracing ourselves for changes to come again. And so we're always, I think how we've managed that is my partner and I, Adam, and even at home, and then with people, friends in the street, other businesses in the community, we're always just talking about it and inspiring each other and being inspired by each other. So we're always kind of planning and thinking and hustling.
Was your patio new?
Patio, yeah. So I mean, if we flash back to the beginning of COVID, we had a conversation of closing pretty abruptly, but that presented a lot of issue. How are we going to survive? What are we going to do? So immediately takeout, which was never a consideration here at North and Navy, became our only option. And I'm, to be honest, I'm actually happy. We'll never look back, and we'll always offer takeout. It's just something we never did. We just felt like our food didn't present well in takeout containers, but we were forced, and now we see that our takeout food, or it does translate, and we had great success with that actually, and we're grateful for the support that we received from our community in the beginning days. Yeah, patio was the next big step. The city gratefully, we're grateful that they opened up that opportunity to all the businesses just to open up patios as we see fit. We had always been challenged. We had applied for patios in the past and had difficulty just because of where we are. We're on a residential street, a quiet corner on the street, surrounded by houses. So I understand the issue of having a patio, but it was always disappointing. So this time we jumped on it immediately, and we built a little, we tried to bring the inside outside. Now, so we've got some gold gilded frames hanging outside and lights, and I tried to create a little environment. And you see a lot of this, we saw that in the comments and heard that in Andy's discussion and Sophie's. It's travel has really inspired us, and we see a lot of this like creative opportunity in other cities. And so it's nice that our city allowed us to get extra creative. So yeah, come check out our patio. There's actually probably only a few days left. It's getting chilly fast.
It is, yeah. It's crazy how you everything out. Yeah, it's super neat. And I also saw on social media, I think it was yesterday, that your team is also donating, or you're giving food to the brewer testing station. Is that the testing center?
That's we've done from the first week out, just in an effort to support the hardworking healthcare workers. This has been going on longer than anyone can imagine, and they're pretty tired and feeling the pressure. And yeah, they look forward to our food. We've been delivering 50 to 80 meals a week to the Brewer COVID Assessment Center, the doctors and support staff from CHIO and Ottawa Hospital. And that's just, we felt the support from our community in the beginning days. Everybody jumped on our takeout program, and we wanted to kind of pay it forward. And that again, with that community theme, this is how you build a community, and this is how it's marketing, but it's feel good marketing, and it's full circle. People are helping you, and you get to pay it forward.
That's incredible. And there's a couple comments in there as well, just saying that's awesome. Thank you for giving back to the community. That's great. And Sophie, I'll just come over to you now to chat a little bit about how Bien Avec Moi has changed the way you operate business.
Right. So yeah, it was definitely, a scary time, and we had to quickly adapt. We were lucky that we had already an online presence. So we had our website, and so we could have still take online orders. And then we were offering local deliveries, which Chris was pretty busy helping with that, and my partner and her husband. So we were all, doing the best we could, and still, bringing sales. But it was really nice to see how everyone was supporting local businesses. And we really felt it as well through our network and social media. And we also took the time to really focus and expand our brand and to work on our website, which is something we've always wanted to do. And you always, have that to-do list, and we're always adding the same thing. And now we actually didn't have a choice. We had to do it, right? So that is definitely a big positive that came out of it. And yeah, we're working on some big things, and still adapting. Who knows if we're going to be in the same boat anytime soon. And then also even having to change the way we were doing our buying. No one was going into work, and so we had ordered all these certain styles and brands and outfits that we knew no one would be wearing. Some of the orders were being stuck, with shipping. So it was definitely big challenges that we had to kind of act quickly and modify. And in terms of the shopping now, it's, more, or there was definitely a period of time where everyone only wanted cozy sweaters and, crew necks. So we were ordering more of that. And so just really adapting and doing the best we can. It definitely helped when we were able to reopen. So thank God for that. And we noticed that people were still really, I think in the mood to go shopping, and it was time to get out of the house and just to, make people feel good too, which is something that's so important for us when people come in, is we want everyone to feel comfortable and, for everyone to embrace how they look and feel. And so it was nice to be able to have that one-on-one again.
Great. Yeah, I didn't even consider that about styles changing. Like, you're not buying work clothes and loungewear, but that's
so popular.
Right. Yeah. Even I guess like wedding dresses, like just formal dresses, and wow. Yeah. That's great that you're able to order the crew necks and change the thing. Okay, so we have a couple of questions just coming into the chat, so I'm going to jump over to those. So I'll read it out, and then maybe you'll just, if one of you three raise your hand, like who wants to take it first. So the question is, I enjoyed hearing your startup stories and backgrounds. What are your businesses doing presently in the way of digital marketing? Has your digital marketing efforts changed up due to the pandemic? What digital tools work best for your company?
I guess I can go.
Okay, thanks, Sophie.
Yeah, I mean, for us, in terms of digital tools, like there's the social media, Instagram, which is absolutely huge for us. So that's definitely been working really well. God knows what we would do without it. We see direct sales when we do stories and posts. So that's been definitely helpful. And then, sorry, what was the other part again of the question? How
has your digital marketing efforts changed due to the pandemic?
So because of now having people just mostly shopping online, we're now allowing more of our budget on online marketing and doing like sponsored ads and all that, because it's so important, and we really want to expand and make our brand more global and not just to keep it local. So we've also used a few, there's like Curate that now we started working with. So it's an amazing platform that can help you schedule your posts and reach out to influencers. So that's been a real, a real help. Yeah, pretty much what I can think of for now.
What was that called? Sorry, the platform that you.
Curate. Curate.
Okay.
With a C. Yeah.
With a C. Okay. Awesome. Maybe we can just look that up and I can add the link, or if Leanne, you got that. Awesome. Thank you. And then, Andrew, do you want to?
Sure. Yeah, I'll take that from Soph. I honestly, I wish I could tell you that we did more online marketing, because we haven't. Instagram, like Sophie, plays a huge role in what we do. We could probably be more organized, and that's like me being more organized and actually like investing like funds and time through things like Google AdWords and Facebook ads. We've actually only promoted like one post the entire time that COVID happened. But I think, and that was actually that the shipping container was reopening, and that was like, again, like money well spent. It was easily the largest interaction we've ever seen on a social media post we've ever done, which was great. The biggest thing that with us probably is we spent more time and energy and focus on our website than we had ever spent before. So like we had a pretty good Shopify store sitting at lvcoffee.ca for about 3.5 years. And I think we had done maybe in 3.5 years, we had done like 300 orders through the store. And at the peak of COVID, we were doing like almost 100 a day for a long time. And now still a huge part of what I'm doing is continuing those deliveries as well, and continuing to spend time and energy and grow that side of the business, because we've really we've learned the value of having a busy web store through all of this, because prior to this, we were always wholesale and we were always retail. We didn't spend any time, we didn't spend any energy facilitating a busy web store. And that's really been probably the silver lining of all of this, is now we have we now have a busy website that actively requires pretty much 2 people for full-time work a week, just to make sure that orders are packed and then delivered to everybody on time. And then we've also brought in things like the subscription program back, which was another, it was used through an app through our Shopify store. And Shopify being another local Ottawa company, massive presence, obviously, but they've done a really, really amazing job helping small business and contributing to that small business community, because we wouldn't have been able to grow our online store at the rate that we grew it at during this time if it hadn't been without their help. So yeah, it was hugely flattering and hugely motivating as well to see the support that LVC got to when we announced that we were closing our retail presence to have everybody switched online. We actually stayed probably busier than we needed to be through the whole time, which is awesome. You can't really complain about that. So
that's amazing. I'm actually just getting a call from North and Navy right now. I think it's regarding, that's so funny. Chris, I'll come to you. If you're able to speak a little bit about digital marketing efforts that you guys do. I mean, what works best?
So first, did you confirm your reservation for tonight, or no?
The call back. That's so funny.
And Andy, it sounds like everybody was at home drinking coffee. That's awesome. Our online presence is pretty quiet. We're a little more old school, and then it's the industry that we're in. It's a restaurant, and we're experience based. We need you guys to come in here and for us to share an experience with you through food and visual and feel. But obviously, for us, Instagram is huge, and that's kind of you've seen it grow over the last half decade. But that's the biggest marketing tool we have, and Facebook as well. I shouldn't discount that, as lots of people are on Facebook and Twitter. So I'd say online, those are our biggest tools. We did open a Shopify account, and that was actually pretty helpful when we were only doing takeout. We listed all our wines, and we've got a little wine club and a little wine shop. So that's a new tool online for us. But for the most part, it's heavy Instagram. And in early days of COVID, we were Instagramming every day because it was almost like starting a new business when we were serving takeout. So we started it all again, and we used Instagram to get that message across.
Okay, great. And do you, like, I noticed you have quite a few, I think it's like 13,000 followers. Are you able to speak to like how you get those followers? Like, is that just like lots of engagement? Do you have someone that leads the digital marketing?
It's all me, and we do it all in-house. And I think that's one of the things I love to do with my photography background. It's been a slow growth over the years, just a natural growth. But again, networking and building relationships with people in your neighborhood, other businesses, collaborations with friends like Little Victories and Bien Avec Moi. That's how you build a followership, and doing good things in the community and participating in events. These are all good things. And the guys in the kitchen, they make it easy for me to take a photo. The food is beautiful and looks delicious, so that's the easy part. But I could actually do it more often. It's something that I haven't passed on to somebody, but it's a consideration of ours, so that we could have more regular. I think it's important to be on that social media almost daily at the very least. Yeah.
That's actually how I found you three connected, because you were always tagging each other and reposting, and just that community network and getting each other out there is so key. Like, that's really how I found your three businesses. So I'm sure others are it's the same thing.
You want to work with people you enjoy working with, that inspire you, that share the same goals and principles and ethos. It's life. These are lifestyle businesses as well, and you want to spend your day and your time working with people that you enjoy working with, and it's symbiotic. You're not counting every time somebody does a favor for you, but what goes around comes around, and working with like-minded.
And I know Andrew said that you were his mentor, and there's actually a question related to mentorship. So the question reads, Andrew, it seems like mentorship played a role in your growth at a young age. What advice can you give young people looking to engage with a mentor?
Oh man, what a question. I think probably for me, it was just like find someone that you really just like admire and appreciate from like a fundamental perspective of like what they've been able to do, and then ask questions, honestly. Just like ask questions, and probably come in to any conversation that you have with that person with like an open attitude, to just like as much like a sponge as possible, just absorb as much information as you can. Chris has definitely been a mentor to me since I started at LDC. Like he's probably like my go-to, like I call him my business dad. Like I literally texted him that today. So he's like one of my go-to mentors in all of Ottawa for that, which I think is great. And then, but for example, like another mentor to me, my business partner is 15 years older than me, and Jer is like insanely smart when it comes to anything coffee related, and just a very, very technically inclined, talented individual. Of everybody who I've ever worked with in the coffee industry, I feel very, very privileged to say that the person that I've learned the most from is my business partner. So I think really try to find people that you connect with as like a friend, and then use your opportunity with them to be able to ask them questions, and really just like unapologetically absorb as much information from them as possible, because that will help you become like a more professional and more qualified business owner. I've definitely always, everybody makes always mistakes too. Everybody makes mistakes in business. And I think like it's really important to, when mistakes happen, to be able to like self-reflect and look at those, and look within the company and look within yourself to see how you can better the company and better yourself moving forward from moments like that. So I think having a mentor to turn to in times like that is invaluable. And having somebody that you can like use as a sounding board is really, really, really helpful.
Great, thank you. And I love that piece about the sponge, like just take in all of the information. It's all valuable, and that's great. Thank you, Andrew. Now we do have a question. Someone raised their hand. So Stephen, I'll get you to unmute yourself, and then if you'd like, you can ask your question live. See if this.
Sure. So I have a question for all three of you. You've all had to change your business model to adapt to COVID. What, if any, of the changes you made do you see being part of your core business going forward?
I can answer that really quickly if you want. Yeah, or Soph can go, whatever. Like we're always gonna spend time and energy focusing on our web program now, like 100%. This is like a fundamental shift in our business approach. Like we're actually not even pursuing new wholesale clients at LDC anymore. Like we've shifted our focus from that. And we're going to be like, my time and energy in terms of like where I'm going to be focusing on growing the business is through our Instagram platform, through our Shopify platform, and through continuing to go in that direction of selling online, because we've just learned the value of having a store that doesn't actually have like a physical brick and mortar presence. We have two of those. And they've been able to do pretty well given the time. But then if we can spend our time and energy, and even like, I need to learn more about Google AdWords. I need to learn more about SEOs. I need to learn more about all of those things that can attract more like interest to our site. So that's really going to be like my next thing that I'm focusing on, is like investing a ton of time and energy into the web program, which we never would have done without COVID.
Yeah, for me, it's the exact same thing as Andy. So really keep growing our online. It's obviously where it's at. It's so important. So Instagram, Shopify, our website. So really dedicating allowing a bigger budget towards that is important.
For us at North and Navy, I guess I mentioned takeout. Takeout was never a thing ever. We didn't even have a takeout container. So that is here to stay, and we're happy to offer that. And in planning this new restaurant in the Glebe, we were actually slated to open in March. And when we were planning that, it was really, we were only considering restaurant first, dining in, and only dining in with a small takeout, assuming that the food was going to be easier. Now we've flipped the model. We're not open yet, so we've had all these months to kind of reconceptualize, but the front of the restaurant, we've removed seats and we've committed to a big fridge. It's going to be a wine shop with take-home food prepared to reheat at home. It's pasta forward menu, so we're going to have pasta ready to go, and a big takeout program. So we've almost flipped the model, and it's restaurant secondary, and feeding the community, feeding the neighborhood for their daily busy lives and at-home lives. as their lives have changed.
Sorry, there's on you. There's also a question, just it's back to you, Chris. So I'll just stay about what was the process for designing a staple menu? So your restaurant looks incredible. I think there's some culinary students on this call.
Yeah, great. Well, great question. I loosely mentioned this early for Adam and I, who Adam actually went to Algonquin as well for cooking. We had a specific goal in mind, or a specific inspiration. Adam's background is Italian. And so keeping that hyper-focused Northern Italian, it really controlled the design of the menu. We also found that there was a similarity between Northern Italian cooking and produce. The regions are similar in climate to our region here in Ontario. So we really played with that, but that focus and that hyper-specific thought controlled the menu.
Great, thank you.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, and the food looks amazing, and your new restaurant sounds delicious. Okay, so we just have another, I'm just recognizing the time, so we're just going to take one more question, and it's going to be a live question. So Daniel, I see you have your hand up, your virtual hand. So I'll get you to unmute yourself, please.
Thank you. Hi guys, I have a question for all three of you. I'm gonna cheat and get all three of you. As an entrepreneur, I know the importance of getting your hands dirty, getting down to the nitty-gritty of the business. But at what point did you realize that you had to delegate the tasks or outsource some of the like administrative work, marketing work? When did you realize that you had to get someone in the business, spend money, and help you out with the business? Again, thank you, everyone.
That's a really good question. Sorry. Can I jump right into it? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, really great question. I think it's important to understand all aspects of your business. And so I think there's no end to when you have to jump in and get your hands dirty, especially as everything is constantly changing and you're adapting, but you need to understand what position you're putting all of your employees in at all times. So jumping in as a dishwasher, I'm not afraid to do it. As an owner, or jumping in and hosting, I think is actually the most important position of the whole entire restaurant. You're the first guest or first person and last person each guest sees. So it's important to get in there and remind yourself, and from there you can better inform your team. But then, as you mentioned, there comes a time you need to spend your time and energy on other things. So you need to delegate that off. So as soon as you can, really, but as long as you have a great understanding of all the positions you're putting your team into. Anyone else?
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, I'm a huge delegator. I think it's really important if you want to be able to, reach all of those goals. It's really the only way is to be able to build a strong team. So definitely something that I've had to work with the agency as well as the boutique. And then it's just also finding that balance, right? To be able to also, we're a huge believer in enjoying your life and also being able to disconnect from your work. And so if you don't have that extra help, then you just get so consumed by your work, and you kind of get really clouded as to what the whole picture was and what you want to do, right? So I'm not sure if I'm fully answering the question properly, but yeah, I'm a huge fan of delegating for sure.
I would say that this is an area that I could probably grow in, to be honest, Danielle, because frankly, I probably am too neurotic to offset it to somebody else yet. But then at the same time, I I also have like a billion things to do, and a lot of this stuff typically takes a backseat. So it is one of those things that it comes from a comfortability standpoint. Like, we're so particular what we post on our social media. We're so particular with what we put on our website. We're so particular with like even for like my minutia stuff, like the brand of t-shirts that we purchase to then like print, where we get them printed, how, like the inks we use for like the t-shirts. Like, we're so like, we have to be detail oriented and focused. And unfortunately, like, I haven't been able to do what Sophie just said. I haven't really been able to remove myself from this process yet. And quite frankly, it's probably because I don't really want to yet. I'm still having too much fun. And I'm still just enjoying what I'm doing too much for me to want to take a step back and to like hand it over to someone else. So I definitely know that I could probably do a better job delegating, but I think within that, one of probably my fatal flaws for a long time in business was over promising and then under delivering. And I had to learn very quickly at a young age that that's not a good way of running a business. So you have to, I think at the bare minimum, it's almost fundamentally as important to delegate, but it's also fundamentally important to be able to grow your time management skills and choose what's really important to you, and choose what areas of your business you want to grow, and what areas of your time you're going to invest time, what areas of your business you're going to invest time and energy into. I'm sure I could do a better job like running the Instagram. I'm sure I could do a better job with the website, but those are areas that I plan to improve upon in myself first before I can really feel good about handing it off to somebody else. Because I wouldn't feel good handing off something that was half done to someone, and then it's not going to set them up to do a good job either. So great question.
Yeah, that was a very good question. And I know that we're almost out of time and we have to give away. So I just want to announce the winners. I just did it through a Wheel of Names draw. Thank you, Matthew Jervik, who was on the call, for recommending for the draw. So I've entered everyone who is who's registered for the event into that draw, and then I just went through and the names were chosen at random. And the student who just asked that question, Daniel, I think it's Daniel, yeah, Melvett. So you are a winner of the $50 gift card to North and Navy. Congratulations. And then we have, I'm not sure if Melissa Marchand is on the call. See, Melissa, if you could unmute yourself just so you can. Not. Okay, we'll go to the next. Haley Burton, are you on the call, Haley?
Yeah, I am.
Yay, congratulations. So you're also a winner of the gift card. So I'll be messaging or emailing you from the email that you registered for the event with. And then we have Leanne Feeney. Is Leanne on the call?
Yes, I am.
Yay, congratulations.
Thank you.
And then for the $100 gift card to North and Navy, we have Diana Algera. Diana?
Hi, thank you.
Okay, perfect. So we still have one $50 gift card to give away. So I'm just going to do the random draw. Give me a second. Hey, and it's Dax Brule. Is Dax on the call?
Yeah, I am. Thank you.
Hey, congratulations. So again, I'll be sending an email, and Sophie message saying that she is going to be offering a 15% discount to all students with the promo code Algonquin15. Okay, so you have that code Algonquin15. And then just a reminder about the third Thursday promo code at Little Victories Coffee and at the Marketplace Food Court. So the first 20 visitors. So thank you so much to our panelists for joining us today. It was so great to hear you offer some advice and tips to our students and employees on the call today. We're so excited to bring Third Thursday back in virtual edition. Stay tuned for information about October Thursday. We're going to be live on location at ZB with and the Thirsty Peddler. So look out on Student Support Service social media for that. Thank you to the panelists, thank you attendees, and have a great afternoon, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, thank you so much.
If anybody has any other questions, you can email them to me or send them via social media. I know we didn't get to everybody's questions, and if there are any specific restaurant stuff, chris@maybe.com.
Sorry, guys, you're just going to head around to the back.
Thanks, Michelle.